When complex legal matters arise, you need more than advice. You need strategy, speed, and certainty. Pryor, Zarnes & Wallace Law Firm can help by offering expert services across commercial law, dispute resolution, property, and estate planning, and more. So whether you're growing a business, protecting your assets, or navigating a legal challenge, Pryor, Zarnes & Wallace's team delivers practical, results-driven solutions. For trusted legal support, visit ptwlaw.com.au today. There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their delicious range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Sound is.
Nick Athanasiou, we're back for another episode of Ouzo Talk. Mate, the season's getting bigger. We're getting closer to that middle part of the year where everyone is like the Canadian geese, as Tsaruka says. They're all about to fly back to Greece, but we're still here. We're putting in the time, aren't we?
Well, yeah, mate. I love the way you start the podcast. You always start with my name.
I know.
It's fucking unreal.
I know. Everyone knows your name. What about my name?
I know.
Say my
Scholaricus. Did I pronounce it right?
You did.
Scholaricus.
That's right.
No, well done. Yeah, look, we're so you're locked in now, going to Greece.
I'm locked in. You're locked in as well.
I'm locked in. So, mate, but we're not going to meet up, unfortunately.
No, we're going to be like ships in the night. We're going to be passing each other, but you know that's okay. That's okay. We're going to have episodes in the can for you, ready and raring to go, aren't we?
We will. So it's going to be 2 months. We're not going to catch up.
I know.
Fucking hell.
We'll have to do something remotely, won't we?
Yeah, I think so, mate.
That's okay. Well, I'm going to ask you a question because today, obviously, we've got another great guest as usual. But have you ever flown a drone before?
It's funny you say that. I haven't flown a drone, but I've flown a remote control helicopter, all for about 6-7 seconds.
What's that mean?
So it was about 10 years ago. I ended up buying one from China. I got it for the kids. You know, when you buy stuff that you want, but you say it's for the kids.
Sure.
It was one of them presents.
Right.
So I got it. Hey, watch everyone out of the way. I was in the lounge room here. Went up, had it about a foot off the ground, went about 4 foot and into the wall. And that was the end of it.
Feos chores, though.
Yeah, it just crumbled and that was it. Straight in the bin.
That's it.
That's my experience.
So that's your drone experience.
Yes. What about you?
Me, actually, funnily enough, I bought a brand new drone and started flying it this week.
Wow.
For the purpose of doing some filming and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm right in the thick of it actually. So the discussion is timely.
It is. So you haven't lost it yet?
I haven't lost it, and I tell you what,
You haven't hit a bird or anything?
No, and I tell you, it's nothing to do with how good I am as a pilot. Because mate, one of the things that's happened is so much of this stuff is automated now. It's so easy. It's pretty hard to fuck up, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear more about that.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. Our guest today is an entrepreneur in the drone space, as you probably realized, a founder, innovator, and design thinker who spent the last decade pushing the boundaries of what airborne technology can achieve across some of the world's biggest industries. From mining and infrastructure to utilities and automation, he's built technology that's helping companies work safer, smarter, and more efficiently, leading a global team spread across Australia, New Zealand, and the Philippines. He's the driving force behind a platform transforming airborne operations for major organizations, including Rio Tinto, BHP, Sydney Water, and Fortescue Metals. Beyond the world of drones and robotics, he's also passionate about building community. During the uncertainty of COVID-19, he co-founded a cycling club that's grown into a thriving network of more than 200 members, championing rider safety, connection, and local engagement. With a background in industrial design from UNSW, this man is driven by solving complex problems, creating meaningful impact, and turning ambitious ideas into reality. Joining us in the distillery is the founder and CEO of Sphere, Paris Cockinos. Welcome to Ouzo Talk.
Thank you very much. Mate,
fantastic.
How you called this the distillery.
It is. Oh, you haven't seen in there yet, have you?
Not yet.
It's we've run out of space, actually. We've got 2.5 shelves full from our great sponsors, which we'll get to in a minute.
Very nice. Well, excited for the show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Nice. Well, it's great to have you here, mate. But, mate, the story's going to be about you. So, young, good Greek entrepreneur coming through the ranks. So, how did it all start?
I asked my dad for a bit of money and I said,
like so many stories.
Always helps. Did you say baba?
I said baba. He actually, every father knows that, right? Hey, baba.
Yeah.
You know, with the
Means
roll on
how
it.
much?
Yeah, exactly right. And he rolls his eyes and he says, "What do you need?" No. My dad made me work pretty hard with my grandfather in his workshop growing up, and grandfather was a radio technician, and working in that workshop, I was the slave labor behind the $110 an hour charge rate that he was paying me $5 an hour for. But we won't tell Fair Work about that.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
And the way it all started, I was quite literally like helping my grandfather and my father out as a teenager, and fast forward into 1920 when I was at UNSW. I said to him, "Hey, there's an opportunity with this thing called drones. Do you know what they are?" He goes, "I only know like the drones that they're using in the defense," and And he ultimately said, "Yeah, sure. What are you thinking?" He goes, "Hey, Baba, do you think you can lend me $10,000?" And that $10,000 bought a couple drones, and that was 2014, 2015. And I bought probably 4 drones in the first month, sold those drones, bought a few more, sold a few more, bought a few more, and before Christmas one year it was something like 100 drones, and I had my mates from my rugby team come out and helping me pack these drones for people's Christmas presents, and that was kind of the start of it. It was just a passion project where it was an Obaba moment, and that's kind of like turned into what we're calling now, it's a pretty big enterprise, and it's something I'm quite proud of.
Wow. Well, I can't help but think, drones in 2014, I remember because I was at a rugby league club at the time, and they just bought a drone. This drone was massive, thinking about it now. Like it was, like a meter wide sort of thing.
Yep.
And
UFO, mate.
Yeah, it was. And you remember around that time as well, the NRL sort of started doing, drone footage from the back, behind the dead ball line and whatnot. Just think about how much the technology's changed, even in this last sort of 10, 15 years. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's and like you said at the start of the podcast, you've mentioned that you've just bought a drone yourself. You're probably not doing much flying. You're probably just looking at it. It flies itself.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of amazing technology, especially what we're saying, not only in like the civilian space, but also the defense sector, and how drones are impacting lives is quite amazing.
We're going to deep dive into all of this stuff. So why don't we do the honors and have a drink, and let's get into it, huh?
Definitely. Let's have a drink. Cheers. Welcome, Paris.
Welcome, mate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful to have you here. Ooh. Nick, what are we drinking?
Well, I know what you're drinking. You got the Rocks and Grape. We've had it in our last episode.
So this is the Arieros job, isn't it?
Arieros. So
Rocks and Grapes.
Rocks and Grapes, really good drop. So the famous singer in Greece, Arieros, he's behind this inspiration. And did we read last time they used Pentelic marble to do something with it?
So they filter it through marble, apparently. And I said, is it Pentelic? Anyway, Malachias. But
it's a good drop. Whatever they do, it's a good marketing spin.
That's right. Whatever it is, that is fantastic. I can't recommend it enough, and it comes courtesy of the Greek Providor.
And Paris is having the 35N, our favourite Ouzo from Crete, the light and vibrant, 42% alcohol. So
what do you think of that one, Paris?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Got a very close with my Kubaro, actually.
Oh, yeah?
My Kubaro won't like that I've called him a Kubaro. Harry's a Cretan fella, and he's proud Cretan. He'd be very proud of me drinking this right now, and it's actually beautiful.
Yeah,
he's Cretan. He must already know about it. But if he doesn't, mate, next Christmas present, birthday present, get him a set of those. The Ouzo, the Tsipuro, there's so many different.
Or the Tikudia, they call it, but mate, the 35 in Tikudia is the best.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah. I'll have to get a bottle for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you, Crystal, the GreekProvidor.com.au.
That's right.
Also, PDW Law have come on board. We mentioned this in our last episode, in the Tsaruka episode, which, by the way, Tom, is our #1 episode in a 24-hour listen.
That's
right.
Believe? I do believe it.
We've been going for 5 years now, and we're still growing. And this is our #1 episode. So, yes, PDW Law, amazing people. Go and see Tolly. They're at 1005 Botany Road, Rosebery. They cover all our great lawyering needs, Tom. Sports law, digital media, and family law. You won't need that, but I would have used that a couple of years ago. But
Love it.
they cover it. They're really good people. Go and see Tolly. He's the best.
Fantastic. What's the website there again?
ptwlaw.com.au. So that's ptwlaw.com.au.
Fantastic. Thank you to our sponsors for getting behind us. Can't do this show without you. Now,
But look, let's start off with you. Where were you born? And then we'll work backwards from there.
Yes, I was born in Sydney, Darlinghurst.
Okay.
likewise.
Hospital, not too sure, but I know Darlinghurst is on my birth certificate because I've just recently seen on my marriage certificate.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
May have been St. Margaret's.
That's the one.
You and me, mate.
There you go.
Born in the same place.
There you
A
go.
few years apart, though.
Yeah, that's right.
And where are your ancestors from?
So obviously, I'll probably get crucified to talk about one in front of the other, or one more as a priority than the other. But no,
So in no particular
order. And hopefully, you guys can decide how you want to cut this up. So on my father's side, you've got my Papa Paris, which is where I've got my name from.
And what's the proper Greek name?
Paraskevas.
Paraskevas.
Oh, right.
Okay.
He was born and bred in Rhodes, but at the time, in the 30s, it was very much governed by the Italian community itself. So he didn't necessarily consider himself Greek. He spoke multiple languages,
Right.
Italian, German, Greek, so on and so forth. And then my Iya Tasula, who's still alive with us today, she was Perea, so in Athens. I'm not going to lie, I do like Athens, probably over all the other islands. My dad's going to not so much enjoy that, but
I'm with you, though.
Mate, I think we all are. Athens is a fucking amazing city.
yeah, no, it is. It's I really enjoy it. Between, Kolonaki and hanging out up there, and then ripping down to Vuliagmeni, like that entire environment's a nice fit to a start and to the end of a Greek Euro trip.
Agreed.
100%, mate. We're on your page. And was it Abby Chatfield raved about us?
She did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah. But
There you
anyway.
go. And then on the other side, Limians through and through. So my grandfather Tasso Anastasios and Markella. Limians through and through. Quite a love story, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay, so was it your grandfather that migrated to Australia?
yeah, so they both grandfathers were the first to leave the households. Papa Paris migrated in 47 from memory. So he was straight after World War II, came out here. He was a radio technician and worked with ABC for many, many years. There's a few war stories that sit behind him and himself and his friends growing up. But
Was this back in Rhodes, was it?
back in Rhodes, yeah. So when the Germans were there with aircraft, he would go away and throw sugar into the fuel tanks, you would call it. And
Kidding.
those bombers themselves that would come down like a,
Well, the engines would
no good.
flutter
Yeah.
midair.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Hang on.
he,
Well, this is
This is good.
stuff.
there's a bit of that.
So
in
was
there.
this in Rhodes?
So that was in Rhodes. So
So there's an airfield in Rhodes.
yeah.
The German planes were taken off, middle of the night.
yeah,
Bubble Paris would
had spiked the engines and the fuel tanks, and
so you'd have like a big bag of sugar.
yeah, and he's sitting there on the sidelines watching it with popcorn,
Fantastic.
But there's actually a really great photo of my Papa Paris. You know the diving board in Rhodes?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a diving board there in Rhodes. I've actually got it up on my Instagram and my LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. It's quite a monumental photo. I actually got a photo of myself standing at the top of it not so long ago. It's but yeah, Rhodes through and through. And
So is it a diving board?
there's a diving board. You climb up it and it's probably 3-4 meters or something like that high.
Oh, right.
And you can jump off the top of it.
And your papa did it in the 90s.
in the probably
40s.
40s odd. And
you went back in 20 something.
24, 25 and
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
How's
so-
that for a story?
But so that's Papa Paris, and then my Papa on my mum's side, Papa Anastasios, Papa Tasso. He shifted over into the Korean War, and
Was he part of the Greek defence or the...
the Greek defence, and was ultimately supporting the US,
Yeah.
from my understanding of it, and he himself was, it's funny, I was speaking to Mum about it, but they classified him like a facilities manager, so just making sure everyone was well taken care of. And as Papu always was, the kitchen was full. He was a chef. He ended up being a chef for Ansett, funny enough, and he looked after all the soldiers and came back. He actually got shot in the leg from what I understand, and came back with medals and all that kind of stuff, and a medal that we carry to Anzac Day itself, and it's quite an interesting story itself. Wow. But between both papudes, there's some great
war stories.
Great stories there.
So 1953, I think, was the Korean War around there.
Yeah, correct. So he came a little bit later. I think it was 57. So they were 10 years apart in terms of when they came, I think, roughly. But yeah, he came straight after. Came out straight after that. And to be honest, it was bang, bang, bang. He came out. Then my Marika came out. My auntie Angela was born almost within 9 months of my landing, and it was a love story from that moment on. They're both no longer with us, but they've went away and had 4 beautiful girls. One of them's my mother. And my aunties know me as the golden child, but that's a separate topic of conversation. But
it's all right.
I think it's because I look like my grandfather, my paputaso.
There you go. So, wow. Just on that Korean War, my uncle fought in that, Ilya Lucas, which is Chris Lucas's dad.
Oh, wow.
And that was the only time, I'm pretty sure, Greece and Turkey were on the same side.
Yeah.
They actually fought together.
There you go.
So, but yeah, interesting. And your Papu was one of them.
Yeah, and if you actually, in Limnos, there's
part of the NATO forces, I believe.
Yeah, in Limnos, there's actually an Anzac cemetery there, quite interestingly enough. It's obviously a really close tie point to Gallipoli. So for the Anzac War, it was quite an interesting base station for a lot of Australians. And you ask yourself the question as to whether or not that was an inspiration for, Papudes and the others from Limnos to actually come to Australia, so to speak. Was there an influence of some description? But yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense because that was the gateway. They all boarded ships to head to Gallipoli from Limnos, and there was a hospital there, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
And Alison Duncan was part of the funding as well of building a monument. It's like a walkway now.
Yeah, correct. Well, there's a beautiful,
it's opened up like last year or something.
Yeah, there's a beautiful monument there, and memorial entirely. But it's sitting in the middle of the island in a place called Mudro. Which is where Mudro, Moudros.
Like face.
Yeah, no mutra.
Oh, no mutra. Sounds like.
Yeah, but that's where one of the ports is, so it's just there in the bottom of Limnos, but yeah.
Yeah. Have you been both to Rhodes and Limnos yourself?
Yeah, I have.
Can I ask you the difficult question?
You can. And I
shouldn't.
Growing up, with my Papu from my mum's side in Limnos actually had we've still got the family home there, and it would be packed out like a backpackers, right? There's 4 aunties, 15 kids, husbands, grandparents, all living in this 2-story, 4-bedroom house over the course of summer, and it was a lot of memories there. So growing up, there's a lot of beautiful memories there. I didn't travel all that much to Rhodes, but I've actually become a lot more acquainted with Simi, actually, out of all places.
Beautiful.
It's a special part of my life, that church there, Archangel Michael. So, yeah, there's a special place in my heart for Simi, so to speak.
Wow. Why is that? Simi's close to Rhodes, is it?
It's really close to Rhodes, but we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here. I actually had a motorbike accident in November 20th, 2015, and it was actually on Archangel Michael's day, or the Saint's Day.
Yeah.
I think it was 20th. I need to have a look at that. But, I was pretty much on my deathbed. I broke my back, broke my ribs, lacerated my liver, broke my face, no more spleen. I was pretty much gone.
Was this in Greece or here?
No, up in the Hawkesbury River. I thought it'd be a great idea to buy a motorbike and not share that with my mother or my family or anything like that. Yeah. So they got a phone call one day saying, hey, your son's being airlifted out of there. And to be honest, I saw a saint with wings, and if you in the church, you'll see Michael and an angel saint itself. But yeah, went back there the year after, and yeah, it's been ever since that. It's been a very special place for me.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, and that's what I want to ask you. Like, what did you actually see?
I was in a coma for a couple of days, and it was just one of those moments where, I don't know, it was like a white backdrop, wings, and that's all I said. And I actually had Father Stephen actually came out and saw me from Kingston.
Good.
As I came out of a coma, my ya's the treasurer of the ladies auxiliary there, so she got a bit of pull. So she pulled him out, and I was just sharing that moment with him, and it was quite special. But yeah,
wow.
Did you see anything else? As a white image,
wings, and
this was when you're in a coma.
Yeah.
So when you woke up, that's what you saw.
Yeah, that was the first thing I said
remembered,
to my parents when I woke up. I just said I saw something with wings,
Shit.
and the date it happened on was Archangel's Michael's Day.
Wow.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When complex legal matters arise, you need more than advice. You need strategy, speed, and certainty. Pryor, Zarnis & Wallace Law Firm can help by offering expert services across commercial law, dispute resolution, property, and estate planning, and more. So whether you're growing a business, protecting your assets, or navigating a legal challenge, Pryor, Zarnis & Wallace's team delivers practical, results-driven solutions. For trusted legal support, visit ptwlaw.com.au today. There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets, to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their delicious range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Yeah.
So you made that connection and thought, I'm going back there.
Yeah, I'm going back there, and I'm going to go and see that monastery.
Wow, what a story.
There's a bit of a story there. And
amazing.
Fantastic, mate.
Yeah.
We should end the podcast now. How good was that?
Yeah, that's it.
Fucking hell.
Oh, well, I don't know where to go from that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, that's all right. Look, so so they migrate. So what year did the Rhodes grandparents migrate?
So
and they met here?
Papu Paris
47.
47.
Okay.
And then my Papu Paris, my Papu Tasso was 55, was Korean War. So I think it was around just before the 60s. I think they were about 10 years apart.
Okay. So it would have been a tough time for Papu Paris in the late 1940s in Australia.
He was working out in Tamworth for ABC and travelling a lot of rural towns, setting up the radio networks and supporting the radio networks. And then he went back and forth on the Patrice as the engineer of the ship a few times. And
oh, wow.
That's where I think Ya came into the fold. They came and then they settled back down, and they actually ended up in a there's another funny story there. They actually won their house on Bunurong Road in East Gardens in a ballot.
Fantastic.
And they had to build the house in 6 months. And that, I think it's 67. So there's about a 10-year gap there that, Papu was going back and forth from Greece, and they had settled a little bit with Papu's role, working out in Tamworth and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah. And that house is still, you guys still living there today.
Oh, it's part of the family still.
Yeah.
On Bunurong Road, huh?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Opposite the school. I thought it'd be a good idea to pull down a few walls one day, because I thought I was going to move in there with my wife, and it's still in a reno state. He was okay with it because I'm an only child. It's just, I'm still a favourite.
You're the golden child. That's fine, mate.
You do whatever you want when you're the golden child.
Exactly. Obviously, you've got the connection with with Simi and the church. Obviously, these multiple places that you're from. But how do you actually feel in terms of your connection to either those islands or to Greece in general? Do you feel Greek, I guess, is the question?
Yeah, through and through. If you ask my I went to Cranbrook, went to a public school in South Coogee, grew up with a bunch of different cultures, you could call it, and even my mates to this day call me the Greek farmer. I've got, you'll see me, I'm wearing an R.M. Williams belt and R.M. Williams shoes, and looking after Fortescue Metals and Andrew Forrest, stereotypical Australian, like mining, and I'm the first person to grab a lamb, sew it up and put it on a barbecue. And
love it.
But to be quite frank, it was all because of my grandparents, right? So like on a Wednesday after school, I'll go to Greek school at behind St. Spirit on there, and learn, read, write, and to this day I speak to my in Greek. I can write, I can read, I can do all that kind of stuff. And you say, do you have an element of Greek in you? Yeah, fucking oath. I love it through and through, even to the point that, I met a beautiful girl, Rachel, and married her, and she was Australian, and she went away, and, we completely aligned. She's got baptized, and we travel to Greece every year. She dances better Tiftedelia than I do. It's unbelievable.
It's a strong gene, isn't it?
It's a strong gene, and she Yeah, unbelievable just to see, you know how life has unfolded. And
So she's, you guys are together now.
yeah.
Did you push the faith thing on her, or did she just offer that? How did that go?
No, there was no push at all. She 100% aligned. If you have a look at actually her girlfriends, they're all of European background, whether it be Greek, Italian, and she's 100% culturally aligned. And I think she's only had Greek partners in the past, so
really?
I think she's just attracted herself to.
Well, mate,
she
again,
saw the light,
genes. Come on.
Yeah, that's it. But
She saw the light. I
That's
can't
right.
be one, I'll marry one.
That's it.
but no, she's 100% for it, and
Love it.
love her to bits. She's my rock.
Yeah, good. And that was just recent, wasn't
Yeah, February. So
it? Wow, this year.
So who's her nuna?
yeah, so her nonna is actually my so it's my Uncle Dean and my Auntie Angelique. So it's actually my Yuz brother's daughter-in-law. So
Yeah,
my
right.
Yuz brother's daughter-in-law is Rachel's nonna, and they've got a fantastic relationship.
Fantastic.
My Uncle Dean's a mentor of mine, similar
Yep.
to my godfather James, and they're showing them the way. We go to church on a Sunday at Rose Bay, or we go to church on a Sunday at Kingston. We kind of not necessarily on a weekly basis as a good Greek boy should be, but
Yeah.
we when
The
we feel
intent is there.
when we're feeling the right time, we go, and it's probably happening once a month, which is
Yeah.
nice. So,
Good on you.
and she enjoys it. I love it. Yeah, got a really nice
Yeah.
connection to Greece, to answer your question.
Yeah.
There you go. You're doing better than us.
Yeah.
And
Well, you've
what
been
about-
at church lately, haven't you?
I've been to church a lot
Well, you
lately.
do a lot of. You're not really praying, are
The
you?
Saint Spirit. Well, actually, no, I'm not. But
Or maybe you are.
so I covered all of Easter for Saint Spirit on doing all the photography, and yeah, my little bloke was altar boy for that entire week, and he was
Papadaki. Is that the
Papadaki,
term?
yeah.
Okay.
He was backing up like from morning to dark. Like we'd finish at 11 p.m. and he'd be up at 5 to go back again, and be like, "Yeah,
Wow.
you didn't have to push him to do it."
How
It
old
was
is he?
fantastic. 8.
Oh, he's going to get ready for when he's 18, right?
Yeah. Oh, by that time, that's when. And actually, that's what they said. They said by the time they reach their teens, it's like, I don't know, like this is too much.
It's all happening earlier at ages. So
Yeah, that's right.
16, 17.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Anyway, yeah. Thank you.
Good stuff. And you went to Cranbrook. I heard you're a bit of a rugby player as well, from what I hear.
Yeah, I
Just disclosure, I know all your aunties, by the way.
Oh,
I've known it for 20 odd years.
there you go. Yeah, went to Cranbrook. Went to South Coogee Public School, kindergarten to year 6, and then year 7 went to Cranbrook, and Cranbrook was a fantastic education. My grandparents, my parents, really put their neck out there to send me to a school like that. And to be honest, I really flourished at school. I loved every moment of it. And talking about rugby, I played a fair whack of competitive rugby up and through to about 24 years old. So
Yeah. Wow.
played first 15 for 2 years, year 11 and year 12, and then went on to play at Randwick down at Coogee.
Love the Wicks.
Coogee up the Wicks, Coogee Oval, and I was actually got a scholarship through UNSW. St Heliers was one of my scholars, and then Peters of Kensington also had was another scholarship that I had through UNSW and the Randwick Rugby Club. They were obviously fantastic sponsors of the club, and
Yep.
yeah, 24, 25, I kind of wrapped it all up. The business was kind of taking its pathway, and even to this day, I'm still quite involved in the rugby club. Even like one of my mentors, Simon Poitevin, he's a
Wow,
Amazing.
Wallaby legend, and I speak to him on a daily basis. He's helping me out with all walks of life. So yeah, got a really close connection with rugby and loved it. I was a front row, as you can probably tell, and
That was going to be my next question.
yeah, I for me it was like taking anger out on a Tuesday night, Thursday
Yeah.
night, and Saturday. I was just dropping a shoulder into someone and
There you
wishing them
go.
all the best.
Oh, mate, you're learning from the best, though, because, I mean, you've mentioned there, South Coogee, obviously, great education there. You've gone to Cranbrook, great education there. You're involved in one of the most storied and historic rugby clubs in Australia. I think it's the oldest.
Yeah.
And you got Poito as
Yeah, mentor.
as a mentor.
Yeah.
He's got a fair bit of a business acumen about him.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
He's an advisor to many, and he himself has been exposed to a whirlwind of opportunity in amongst the commercial world. And it's funny. I was at a dinner not so long ago, and you talk about Randwick being quite like an unbelievable platform for not only rugby, but then also like what that goes away and stems on with the relationship you build from a commercial perspective. But between Eddie Jones and Simon Poitevin and that whole era and what they managed to go away and achieve is actually amazing. It's quite inspirational. I think the Randwick Rugby Club played the New Zealand All Blacks at Coogee Oval.
Yep.
Back in the 70s.
I was talking about, it was in the 80s.
80s, sorry.
I was talking about this the other day because they put out there that they're going to play, I think, Japan's under 23s or something.
So the evening before that, and this is a dinner I'm getting to, it was like Poito went away and hosted a dinner at the Crown Plaza there, and it was very fortunate enough to get invited. But you saw all this like tenured rugby club personalities, and then you've got a Japanese cohort of business there, and what they're trying to do and what they've successfully been able to do is do equivalently what they went away and achieved back in the 80s, bringing Randwick against the All Blacks, and then they played the under 23s, the Japanese under 23s on the Saturday, and it was an amazing event. Just to be able to see everyone together and bring those two cultures and those two communities together. It's awesome.
What was the score in the end?
Yeah, the Randwick got beaten, unfortunately. But
see, we've come a long way. Yeah. I say we because I am a Randwick fan. But you think about that Randwick team in the 80s that played the All Blacks.
Yeah,
it was half the Wallaby side.
That's it.
Playing at Coogee Oval.
Yeah,
Daly, Mackenzie, the Ella brothers, Campese, all of these blokes, unbelievable. All from Randwick.
All from there.
Yeah. Well, Cranbrook's a good rugby school as well. So we used to have grudge matches. My kids went to Waverley.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Used to play
the
you guys a lot.
Yeah, some of my best mates are from Waverley, and Waverley boys always went down to Randwick as a feeder club. But that was always a grudge match down there in Death Valley. It was.
That's what we called it.
Yeah, that was great footy against Waverley. It was always
competitive.
But for those listening outside Australia, because we know we've got a lot of listeners overseas,
they're thinking, what are they talking about?
Yeah, I know. We're talking about a niche here, but this niche that we're talking about, in particular, there's a culture around subbies, rugby, and rugby clubs in general. This is where a lot of people actually start their business careers, number one, make connections, not just from schools, that's part of it. It's such a great networking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'd honestly say between my schooling and my rugby, it's what's built my commercial opportunity, to be quite frank with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a major impact on everything that I've got going on, even stemming into the cycling club.
Yep.
As you can tell, I probably don't cycle anymore. I definitely don't cycle anymore.
You're going to go back, play front row, fifth grader.
Yeah, no.
Probably safer.
The body's no good. The cycling club, the rugby club, the school, that was just the co-curricular activity, I think is just so important, even to the point where I was speaking to my wife the other day. Is university was fantastic, but to be honest, where the relationships and the whole, that was all built. It was built on co-curricular, if I was to call it out, which makes you think around how you go away and enable your kids in the future, right? It's something that would be iPads at dinner tables and all that.
Yeah.
Just no.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good ex-students from there as well. Anthony Locascio was one of our people.
Yeah.
And Constas, the cricketer, I think he was one of was he a Cranbrook boy?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, so a few good Greeks went through there, mate.
Definitely. How do we feel about it going co-ed? This is a touchy one.
I think you just answered it, mate.
No, it's I think it's just all part of the community and where the community's heading. They were able to fill seats at the school in the co-ed side of things, and I think it's fantastic because you can be quite isolated as just an all boys school, and I think it's actually really good for the students. What I do feel for is that there's parents that went away and enrolled their students in an all boys school only to find out 5, 6, 7 years later that they've now going away and changing the model. I think that in terms of the way they potentially handle it, maybe we could have provided a little bit more notice rather than going away and 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in. I think that probably could be handled a bit different, but there's no perfect outcome there. And, I do think it's for the better of the kids though.
I agree.
That's a
Yeah, look,
statement.
that's a good
I went
call
to
out.
co-ed school, junior school, and it was fantastic.
Yep.
And some of the girls that we went to school with there, we're still in touch with over the course of the years. And, I think it's quite important.
Yeah.
But males that don't necessarily see that, I think that there's a gap there for sure.
Well, it's interesting because when you go to Greece and you say, for example, I went to an all-boys school as well, they don't, it doesn't compute with
comprehend.
the family over there. It's like, what do you mean you went
Yeah.
to an all-boys school? Like, that's not the way the world is.
Was it to do with military? Like back in England, that have all boys' school and it was all based around military.
I think it is it's definitely
back in the 1920s,
inherited.
30s. Yeah.
It's inherited from the UK system, their public school system, which we would call private here. So, yeah, anyway, it's time for change, I think, and I think that's a positive
I don't think
one.
it's a bad idea, actually. Probably good. Better for boys, anyway.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, so we've got your background there. I mean, tell us now about actually starting this business. You mentioned the fact.
Maybe we just start with Sphere Drones. Tell us what it is. Tell us about your company.
Yeah. So Sphere as an organisation is really to bridge the gap for enterprise organisations that are requiring drone data of one description or another, and it's really about providing that end-to-end solution. We've actually gone down a real rabbit hole in what we're targeting, and it's all around automated drones. And you said it earlier, the drones quite literally fly themselves. And if I think about like where we are today, we went away and surveyed our customer base in 2019 through to 2022, and we said, hey, what is it going to take for you not to actually have people out in the field driving from here to here to go away and fly a drone over there? And what is it going to take to operate a drone remotely, autonomously, and so that's completely hands-off? And that's the direction we've gone. So we've built our own software that controls the drones.
Right.
We've built our own drone hardware itself that allows you to roll it up to a mine site. Think about it like a box trailer.
Yep.
Batteries, solar panels, autonomous drone, bunch of avionic sensors that the Civil Aviation Safety Authority loves. And you roll that up, you park it, you turn it all on. 5 minutes later, it's being operated remotely, not from on site. So you know what a drone and how the drone works. You didn't necessarily have a great experience in an RC helicopter. But imagine like rolling up a trailer, it's got all the avionics on it, and you can walk away and operate it remotely. We've really gone down that rabbit hole. It's all there because the corporate governance around flying a drone, you need who is the drone, who's flying the drone, does that person have a license, does the business have a license, is the drone being maintained like your car needs a maintenance, is the organisation got the license? We kind of handle all that for the customer and just charge the customer a rate per flight.
Sure.
Keep it really simple, stupid.
And you call that full stack.
Full stack. And when we reflect on what our capabilities are out in our operation, we've got a 6,000 square meter manufacturing facility out in Seven Hills. We have a remote operations center out there as well. So the software's us, we manufacture it, we've got fabricators, and that's probably the most exciting thing about what I do is think about like my personalities. I've got software engineers, I've got fabricators, I've got powder coaters, electricians, technicians, computer, electrical engineers, all sorts of people in all sorts of walks of life. And again, you think about where that has come from, like playing at Randwick, going to South Coogee Public School, working with all these different cultures, it's all coming together for me within the business side. And
this is all under one roof.
All under one roof. And we're the only ones, I would say, almost globally that is doing what we're doing. So
Unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
We're pretty, and we're focusing specifically on the civilian and industrial side, so not necessarily on the defence sector, but more so how we can help a surveyor work through their
give us an example.
Their works. Yeah, so
how would they use your product? Is this your best product you're talking about?
So it's our product that we lead everything with. It's what we call HubX. It's like I said, a box trailer, batteries in the box trailer, solar panels on the box trailer, an autonomous drone on the box trailer, and a bunch of cameras and all these other devices.
So I'd literally drive it to a site.
Yep. If anyone's
park it.
How are you guys driving a trailer? You're going to back a trailer?
Reversing, I know, is very challenging.
Yeah.
You got to go, but not very good.
Not good, right? Drive the trailer to site, drop it in the position, and then from that position, you can just turn everything on. And then the remote operations center, which we have out in Seven Hills, can fly that drone remotely.
So you don't have to fly it. Someone will do it for you.
Someone will do it remote, and we do that for the customer.
Is this a lease?
So you fly it for them too?
Yes, correct. So we've got a number of systems. that are deployed across Australia, and we fly them and operate the systems for the customers. Let's talk about use cases. So one customer in particular has got 150 kilometres of water pipeline. We monitor that water pipeline every single day rather than them sending someone out in the car driving hundreds of kilometres of pipeline and inspecting the pipeline.
Wow.
So
the pipeline's above ground, I'm assuming?
Yeah, correct. Just think about like PVC pipes, 500 mil in diameter, and they're just sitting on the ground and
looking for leaks or something.
Looking for leaks, correct. So that's just one example. Another example is the mine managers themselves need to go away and see the status of all the pits. So in a mining environment, you've got areas where they're digging. It's like talk about 100 kilometres long. There's probably 4 or 5 pits that they're digging in. The mine managers traditionally go out and inspect all the pits to see what's going on. Instead of doing that, we fly the drone to the center of the pit, take a 360 image. Next pit, 360 image. Next pit, 360 image. And then what we do is within 5 minutes of capturing that data set, he goes and logs into his computer and can see the status of each of the pits just from his computer. He can make judgment calls on how things are going. That's mining, and we haven't even spoken about like other applications. So you look at something like, got an amazing use case on the Great Barrier Reef. Like you think about like putting a unit on the Great Barrier Reef. Like a unit that's sitting on the Great Barrier Reef is used for a bunch of different use cases. So the ecology monitoring. So how the turtle hatching is performing. Like these environments aren't necessarily accessible by public, but they're obviously got wildlife and all of that on it. So have the turtles hatched, they can understand where that. So drone takes off on a daily basis, captures imagery of the environment, have the turtles hatched, true or false. But then the second part of it is drone takes off and then can go away and inspect the surrounding environment, because some of these zones which the Great Barrier Reef is on, you're not allowed to go fishing there.
Right.
So think about a policing type application whereby we've got a radar. I don't know if there's any yachties or boaties out there, but you've got a radar that sits on top of our trailer. The radar picks up that there's a boat. Drone takes off, identifies the boat, and able to pick up the registration number of that boat and go away and report it back. That's another example. There's a lot of use cases, and this is the amazing part of what we're doing is we start picking the brains of specialists that are sitting in these business environments of mines, Great Barrier Reef, renewable energy sites, solar farms, wind farms, construction sites.
So this thing, how long will the battery last them?
So it's 40 minutes and can travel, 60 to 70 kilometres an hour.
Wow. So 40 minutes the battery would last?
Yeah,
and
correct.
goes for 60 to 70
k's an hour.
For speed. Wow.
Correct. So,
and at that speed, does it record the whole way?
Yeah, it can take photos, take videos, all of that kind of thing. And, when we look at so you got a hub, you can fly 12 k's this way, 12 k's this way, return it. Or if you've got multiple hubs, which is like a piece of intellectual property that we're building out, if you've got multiple hubs, think about it like
multiple trailers, for example.
Yeah. Bunny hopping.
Yeah,
Right.
So the range is 12 k's.
12 k's, but if you're bunny hopping between systems,
you can go 24.
Correct.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, even further. It depends on your speed, your pace. Do you need to stop and inspect?
What about the wind and all that?
Yeah, that all matters as well. But 12 meters a second is kind of like the 12 to 15 meters a second is the
standard.
The standard. It can operate in light rain, which is okay. But again, the way we've designed this thing is it doesn't need power, it doesn't need internet, doesn't need anything like that. It integrates with Starlink, so satellite. Integrates with Telstra SIM cards, Optus SIM cards, and a bunch of other technologies. And we don't need any other tooling to install our system. We quite literally roll it up, reverse it, park it, turn it on, walk away. And that's all been designed and engineered in-house. And I reflect on how that concept came about. I drew it on a piece of paper. You see all these trailers that are set up on construction sites or even roads. They've got lights or they've got billboards. All inspired from that. It's let me take something like that, put a drone on it, give it enough battery power, enough.
Wow. So does it open up like a spaceship and this fucking drone comes out?
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Something out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And this is all stuff that you have designed as well.
Yeah.
Like this, you've got a background in industrial design, don't you?
Yeah, correct. I sketched it on a piece of paper 2023 and we built first unit. I drove the first unit about 30,000 kilometres around Australia. to go away and visit our customers and say, hey, do you think this is something that can work? And then that's what built our business. We built a pipeline, we built opportunities, we started closing those deals, and here we are today, and we've got a substantial operation. There's 66 employees in the business now, and
huge.
Yeah, plenty more units to go, and we forecast that we'll probably have anywhere between 100 and 150 units in the next 12 to 24 months out there in a bunch of different environments. So.
And again, we should stress, no one else is really doing this anywhere else, are they? This is unique.
It is very unique. Someone can go away and buy a drone, install a concrete pad, install power to it, install internet to it. But what that is it's like it takes a project team, it takes a group of people to go away and engineer this solution. And then you have to go away and find a piece of software. Then you need to go away and find a pilot. Really, when you look at it from our perspective, is we've gone away and designed and engineered a trailer which allows you to roll it up. 5 minutes, it's set up. We've got the software that controls it, so the mine manager can also go away and see the data that they require. And then on top of that, we have a bunch of team that sit out in Seven Hills in our remote operations center that actually fly these systems for a customer. So a customer can just go to us and say, hey, I want 15 hours a week of operations. Can you roll a trailer up for us next week? Yep, sure, no problem. Manufacturing, inventory,
amazing,
operational remotely.
Brilliant.
And it's special because everyone that's sitting in the business is like amazed by it too. They're pretty excited by the opportunity we got in front of us.
Especially big corporations, who normally it's a manual process. You're sending people out there. It'll take longer, more expensive. You're doing half the time and probably stuff all costs for them.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's one of the big KPIs for us is like minimizing LV interactions, so light vehicle interactions. How can you minimize car interactions between your car and an autonomous haul truck? Or, for every kilometre that's driven in a car, there's a risk there for a corporation, right? And if you can avoid sending someone out and driving 1 hour, right, at 60 kilometres an hour, it's 60 kilometres of potential interactions that you've got with other elements, wildlife, autonomous haul trucks, big trucks, all these sorts of different risks. Instead, you have a trailer that sits there, can go away and fly that in 10 minutes, come back, return. That's the return on investment case for an organisation.
So you mentioned BHP, which is, I think I just read the other day, it's the biggest company in Australia now. Just took over from CommBank.
Is it?
And Fortescue Metals. So what is it exactly you do for them? Is it?
Yeah, I probably can't go into too much detail as to like the semantics of it, but the use cases are like what we've proposed earlier. They're, between the two of those organisations, we're really like pushing the dial as to how we're deploying this. And, the best part of, how we're working with them is you think about it from their perspective, they're supporting Australian-made product. They're supporting like Australian sovereign technologies, and they're supporting like the Australian like workforce just with this this type of technology. At the same time, we're not displacing people on site. We're reducing risk of those people on site and ensuring that those people on site are actually better utilised. So instead of them driving for an hour, they can go away and analyse the data so they make the best right next decision for the organisation.
Brilliant.
But yeah, they're two of my key customers that, we work with, and there's a bunch of other customers, obviously, that we've just spoken about mines and resources. But
do you get into surf life saving?
Yeah, so I my business rolled out all the surf life savings drones up and down the East Coast, 190 of them back in 2017, 2018.
Wow, you guys.
Yeah. We're not necessarily working with them as much as we used to. They're pretty self-sufficient now that they're all set up. But yeah, we rolled out their drone program all up and down the East Coast. We got engaged with the Queensland Surf Life Saving WA, South Australia, Victoria. We got engaged with all of them. It's a fantastic use case. There's a bunch of applications that people can't, not people can't understand, but that aren't known to people that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Imagine policing. 000 call comes in.
Yeah.
Your phone, Nick, Telstra tells me the GPS position of your phone. The police officer has a system that's called Motorola CAD. It tells them the GPS position of your phone, so what the nearest corner or street address it is. My software takes that corner. I take off a drone, fly to that corner.
Yeah.
Am I getting there quicker than a police officer or not?
100% you are.
Yeah. That's like what's going on.
That's like the next level now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, how do we go away and respond to emergencies?
Yeah.
000 phone calls, fire emergencies in rural New South Wales.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions about fire. Like, have there been any applications yet for that sort of?
Well, we were very fortunate enough to get a grant with the New South Wales government and the Rural Fire Service, RFS, National Parks and Wildlife, and RFS. Went extremely well. Our system picked up and responded to fires. And a really interesting use case that we're okay to talk about is you've got the water bombing helicopters that come in and go away and drop. It's quite an amazing thing to see. But at night, they can't necessarily fly.
Yep.
So what was happening is during the nighttime, my remote operations center was flying the fire zone and identifying where there was hot spots.
Right.
We then GPS positioned every single hotspot, gave it to the helicopter operator. So when he wakes up in the morning, he goes, I know where I need to go away and start dumping water, rather than going away and finding where I need to go away and start dumping water.
Yeah, right. Amazing.
How far are you away from drones dumping water in these bushfire scenarios?
It comes back down to like how much water is required.
And weight.
And that's the biggest thing. So you've got drones that are out there that can carry about 100 kilos, which is the equivalent of 100 litres. But those applications are more so driven towards the agriculture sector itself.
So they exist today?
They exist. 100 litres you can go away and drop every day of the week today.
Is that for like crop dusting type of things?
So
or feeding cattle or something?
Yeah, so think about spraying herbicides and pesticides over the top of, thistle, all that sort of like bad plant that, goes away and eats away at a farmer's yield. Because, the way the farmers go away and make their money is they've got livestock that run the yard. If there's blackberry or thistle that's taking up, call it 20% of their land, the cows can't actually eat that 20% of land, hence why they need to go away and exterminate the thistle or the blackberry. So these drones are going out there and spraying these things. Think about like Roundup in your backyard at a larger scale. Well, it actually is Roundup.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a dewatered Roundup. Yep.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I can think of so many other applications and stuff, but I mean, I remember you talking about water testing on our good friend Mark Burris's podcast. Sydney Water, is that ongoing? Like, are you guys still doing water testing?
Yeah, so we before the hub came along, we actually designed a system which is called a water sampling unit. It wasn't the drone; it was the system that sat underneath the drone that actually bottles up water. So it has a long tube, the drone flies out, the tube goes down, pumps the water into a canister, and then the canister goes away and they can go away and test the water itself.
Wow.
That's something that Sydney Water still actively are doing today. So that methodology and that framework as to how they go away and sample water was designed by us as a business, and that was rolling back 2018, 2019 is when we did that.
Yeah, wow.
So
like I remember we used to work at Qantas. We had a whole room full of boarding passes with funny names and stuff like that. Do you have stuff like that with footage? Like I'm sure you have some fucking amazing footage.
Yeah, we do. The amount of shark footage I've got is pretty ridiculous.
That's another one.
Yeah, that's the way surf lifesaving.
That's how they use the drones.
The shark attack. That's where a lot of the funding came from all the surf lifesaving drones that got rolled out. But then, we've got bloopers, right? So rolling back into 2014, don't go doing this,
Depends what you say.
Yeah. Rolling back to 2014 when I was just starting, you get all sorts of characters buying drones for their kids and, all that. And there's one video I can show you. It's absolutely hilarious. And it's a guy taking off the back of a catamaran. And at this point in time, if you don't leave the drone, and you probably know this, if you don't leave the drone long enough and it doesn't connect to GPS, it flies in what they call like ADI mode, which is like manual. So coming back to your mode where you crash your helicopter because it was unoperable.
Yeah.
The technology in it is if you don't wait long enough and it doesn't connect to GPS, it's got no idea where it is, and it's up to how good your fingers are and how good you are at operating the system. Guy starts the motors, doesn't wait for the GPS mode, takes off, in the water. The amount of pieces of content that we got, like that sort of thing, and I've got it in my favorites because it's one of the first ones that I ever received. And there's all sorts of war stories like that. But we've had drones come back absolutely mangled from customers, and they're like, "Can you fix this?" It's like, mate, done. this is no good.
That was my next question. Have you lost any drones?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all part of the fun.
So will there be heaps in Botany Bay, you reckon?
Yeah, heaps. Yeah. Even though you're not allowed to fly there
near
the airport, but there'd be plenty there.
Yeah.
There's there'd be plenty in the seas of Darling Harbour, plenty in the seas of Botany Bay. Yeah. Even like you got people that were once upon a time they'll use it. Well, they're still using it today to be able to anyone that's going like long lining, right? So they're fishing.
Yep.
Put bait in it,
seen that.
fly it out for 2.5-3 kilometers.
Yeah.
Drop the bait, fly back home. Like even like those, like you think about the risk, not the risk appetite, but more so the the risk of potentially losing the drone if the line gets tangled in the prop. Like the opportunity to lose the drone in that sort of scenario is quite.
So what are the biggest risks for losing one? Is it weather related or?
No, weather's manageable, right? So like in and amongst our hub, for example, we've got a weather station that tells us like current, wind speed, wind direction, all that kind of stuff. We integrate with a couple other systems that tell us like wind speeds at altitude so that when we're flying. But really the biggest risk is there's a couple of things. A lot of it's manageable. Like if you're not maintaining your drones and you're not maintaining like
it's like a mechanical
thing. So like Surf Lifesaving, for example, the amount of drones that they've lost because they're managed by volunteers that don't know how to fly drones, not to discount how amazing volunteers are, just more so around like the operational confidence around it. But then you think about the conditions they're operating, salt water, sand, all that kind of stuff. If you've got like a motor, is all caught up. I don't know if you've ever had like a rock caught in your tire and it makes that horrible noise. Those sorts of like incidences can unfold, and it all comes back down to maintenance and human error. There's one customer of ours that they went away and analysed all their incidences, and 70% of the incidents that they had on site was human error.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. User error. Used to use it a lot at Qantas. What about birds and stuff?
Yeah,
how do you avoid that?
That's the next 30%, right? Like the 70% is human error, then the remaining 30% are things that aren't necessarily in your control, and it's wildlife. Look, we have had incidences, and hopefully there's no one from the Environmental Commission listening to this, but where we have hit birds and those sorts of things, we've been very fortunate not to lose a drone completely, but a cracked propeller or a cracked frame, or up in the Pilbara, you've got hawks that come in and have a crack at a drone. Those things do happen, but they're manageable. So if you ever come across a magpie or a bird or anything like that, the first thing that you want to do is fly up, not fly down.
Oh, really? Right.
Yeah. And then fly up, shoot forward, and then you start descending.
Good advice.
There you go.
Well, duly noted.
And is there some sort of a sensor if there's another drone nearby?
Yeah, so that's going into this drone detection world, and we've got a bit of our technology that does that. So I'm not too sure if on your phone, so you watch loved ones fly into Australia and you can see them on Flight Radar 24.
Yes. Flight Tracker, yeah.
Yeah, Flight Tracker. So that's a piece of technology that aircraft use called ADS-B. That ADS-B is like a transponder that the aircraft go away and ping away. Mm-hmm. We integrate ADS-B. 70% of aviation and aircraft themselves host an ADS-B transponder. So Qantas, Virgin, all those mandated. The ones that you got to look out for is anyone that's operating in rural communities that don't want to go away and spend the $3,000-$4,000 on an ADS-B transponder. Coming to your question around drones is, to understand a drone's position, you can only detect it in one of two ways. They either need to be transponding something on a public frequency, which none of them do, or you use a radar technology, just like a marine radar type of system that you would have on top of your boat that you'd be able to detect other boats. Okay. So being able to understand, and this is where it starts becoming really interesting from our world, is what's this next quantum? What's this next level? Like right now, the way we're operating, you can go away and roll a trailer up and operate it tomorrow and be completely cool. But where the risk caliber comes, and it really is how the Civil Aviation Safety Authority look at it and how Air Service, because they're their biggest barrier to pushing this thing through, is how do we interoperate in our populous environments where you've got aircraft, people, cars, risk, and it's all a risk management thing. As soon as we can detect drones, understand where population densities are and mitigate those risks, is where industry like ours will excel. Think about moving, and my wife works for a a medical devices company called Stryker. They shoulder joints, hip joints, knee joints, sutures, beds, all that kind of stuff. That's their game. Imagine moving a piece of shoulder or hip that's been forgotten by the sales rep of the person that's doing your reconstruction. The surgeon needs a specific tool. Going from a depot at Arndale Park to the nearest hospital within 5 minutes by just simply loading in this piece. The only way that's going to come possible is if we can start detecting all these risks. So other drones that are flying, aircraft that aren't carrying ADS-B, where the population density lies. That's what's really going to enable it. Even think about postage. Imagine ordering something on Amazon and saying, I want it tomorrow. That Amazon depot's out at, Seven Hills, wherever it is.
So I guess regulation.
Regulation.
You need to, because I know I've read a couple of articles that transport, they're looking at having some designated hubs as well for flightless, I guess, transporting people and stuff like that. So how are you really involved with government regulation as well?
Yeah.
And how far are we getting to becoming something like, I don't know, Back to the Future 2 or something like that?
My gut's telling me within the next 3 years, we'll have 3 to 5 years, we'll have packages delivered to our door by drone.
Wow. Yeah, right.
At a community level, something that's accessible to everyone. They've done a bunch of trials in isolated settings.
They do that in China now.
Yeah.
Guangzhou, yeah.
The technology's there. It's our regulators and our government
that are holding us up.
And is it holding us up and is it red tape? I think they're doing the right thing by ensuring that they've crossing their T's, dotting their I's. If you have a look at all these other countries, they're going gung-ho and just trusting the technology is going to work. Something will happen and it will be catastrophic. I think it's the conservativeness of our community that's probably doing the right thing for us. But again, there's people within industry that are getting agitated by it because the technology there is being done in Guangzhou. It's all happening. 5 years is what my gut's telling me.
5 years. So 2031. Right.
Yeah.
When it comes to regulation, I mean, again, I put my drone up for the first time this week.
Yep.
And in the app that you've got to download to be able to use this thing, it gives you the map, for example, of saying, okay, well, these are areas that you can fly. It's oranged out, for example, virtually everything around the airport. You can't fly here. You can't do all that kind of stuff. Yep. And it's pretty stringent, for what purpose you need to put it up and, being able to communicate with CASA. Do you foresee a time where, is it going to go in the direction of you're going to need to have a pilot's license to do this in the future? Yeah. Or do you think it's going to go the other way?
Well, I think you categorize it in two flows, right? So it's a consumer. You're a consumer. You're going to go away and fly it just for this hobbyist type environment. I remember, growing up, I was flying model helicopters and airplanes with my dad on a Sunday at Malabar Headland and Astrolabe Park near St. Spirit on there. And we're flying and it was completely you think about that now, you're flying over underneath the flight path. Full pelt up. If I see a bird, I can just keep going and who knows what could have happened back then. But this is where manufacturers of technology will start to work with regulators a little bit more to support and to ensure that, we're not flying within these risky environments. Yep. So you've got those orange and red can't fly here sort of things. That's because they're in consultation with the regulators. But the industrial applications and anyone that's commercially interested in flying drones, there's actually in Australia, Qantas. So let's put that for a side. Qantas as an organisation has a licence to operate manned aviation. Yep. Qantas's pilots have licences. Qantas's pilots have different categories of license. Can they fly 737, 787, A380, so on and so forth. The drone industry in a commercial application is managed in exactly the same way. So Sphere has a licence. Yep. All my 15 pilots have licences and then they've all got categories of a licence. So that exists today, and there's in Australia, from a licensed operator's perspective, there's something like 2,500 operators. They could be a mum and dad, or they could be a fully fledged operation like what we've got going on. Right. Coming to your point, that still happens today. That is in place today, but difference between commercial operations and consumer operations. Someone can go away and buy a drone from JB Hi-Fi and be on their way and fly, and it's up to the manufacturer and the regulator working together there. Whereas over here, we're governed to who's flying it, where did it fly, how long did it fly for. Your kids are going to go through their L plates just like they're filling out a logbook. The pilot over here is filling out a logbook. But over here, you're not. Yep. from a consumer perspective.
Is there a privacy thing? Like, can you get a drone to hover past someone's backyard and record? What's the regulation? I'm sure there's a rule around
There's
it.
rules around it, and I probably
30 meters.
stay away from it. Yeah, the general rule of thumb is 30 meters from people, places, and buildings. That's the rule for a consumer. You go away and buy a drone, you get given a pamphlet that says that.
But if someone does it, how do you police it?
That's the hard part.
That's the hard
And
part.
good luck to anyone that wants to.
Okay.
But there are privacy laws out there that manage those sorts of things, but you'd have to take some serious offence to it to take it even further. But
Because I read there's a thing called a drone jammer.
Yep.
Where you can point at a drone and it knocks it out of the sky. So
Yep.
Is that what's happening now overseas as well?
Yeah, so that's happening here in Australia. It's happening overseas. What we'll start to see is in and amongst our airports and in amongst our Parliament House and in amongst those like high value, high impact environments, they'll have like jamming devices. Think about the jamming device like, if you lose on your mobile phone, for example, if you lose reception, that in some way has had a piece of interference. What that goes away and does is that jamming device goes away and interferes with the signal of the operator who's got the remote control and takes over the radio waves to bring that drone down. What we'll see is our public places like our hospitals, our schools, our football stadiums, airports will all have an element of this jamming capability to it.
Eventually, yeah.
But that only mitigates the drones that are being flown by a remote control or are being communicated via a remote control. That doesn't go away and mitigate the drones that have got a direct cable from a remote control to the drone, just like what we're seeing in the
Ukraine. Yeah.
That's how those drones are operating.
Yeah.
If you've got a direct link cable,
Nothing can stop it.
nothing can stop it.
Yet, until something comes up.
Unless you interfere
pair of
with it
scissors.
physically. You laugh, but you're right. And that's why they've got the nets over, the corridors that they're walking, that they're driving, so on and so forth, is so that these things can't go away and go.
Interesting.
So in Ukraine, how long are these cables?
Think about it like a
20?
fishing line.
Yeah, right.
That thick or thinner?
Thinner, like fishing line, like thickness.
Wow.
Like these things are fiber optic and they just fly.
Holy crap.
And then, so there must be a whole lot of cable all through Ukraine at the moment.
That's exactly
There's so
right.
many of them.
They think that their biggest risk is, well, not their biggest risk, but their biggest challenge is going to be how they're going to clean up all this cable that's been.
Yeah, right. I didn't know that actually about the cable.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's what they call tether. It's a fiber optic tether. So you've got internet, ADSL, or you've got fiber that comes into the house here. It's the same sort of cable.
Okay.
It's like an Ethernet cable, but just at a smaller scale.
Yeah.
So, Ukraine obviously is doing a lot of work when it comes to drones at the moment. Israel as well. We've seen Iran doing different types of drones in the last few months. Who is at the forefront of this, do you think?
I think the Israelis, their technology operation's pretty.
What have you heard?
You hear all sorts of stuff in our industry. Just the advancement of like how quickly they can go away and build stuff. But then again, like the way China and their manufacturing capability, like I heard a fact, like if all of China's warships got taken out, China could go away and rebuild all their warships in a year. If someone went away and took out all of the US's warships, it would take them 10 years to go away and rebuild all their warships in the US.
Yeah.
just purely because of their efficiency and
manpower and capability that they have.
But in terms of like functionality and whatnot, you think the Israelis are where it's at?
The best technology. So where are we at now? Because I always understand the military has the best technology, and then once they're done with it, they give it to the general public to make money out of.
Yeah.
Where do you think? Where are we at now with drones? As in, say, let's stick with military.
Yeah. Look, like drones have always been a hot topic in amongst the defence capability. Where we at? Drones are flying on a daily basis, and they're flying. The ones that we know of from an industrial perspective is very much, 20 Ks, 24 Ks kind of range. These drones are flying hundreds of kilometres now.
Wow. So they got
They've got
Special
range,
batteries, okay.
batteries, different fuel sources,
Lighter
petrol, tether. So, you know,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
fishing line that we're talking about?
Yeah.
It not only does like an Ethernet cable would or
Yeah.
like a USB-C cable would, it would not only like communicate that sort of thing,
Yeah.
it would communicate power as well. Or equivalent to a USB-C cable and its capability.
So we've got drones with bombs on them. Is there drones with guns on them?
Yeah, that's not far. That's if that's there. That's happening. Like I saw something on LinkedIn the other day. There's a group out of the US that have gone away and put a machine gun on the back of a Toyota Tundra, which is like a Hilux equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's being remotely operated to go away and detect the drone and shoot the drone out of the sky.
Oh,
like,
right.
you think about like the whole motion of like being able to operate something remotely. It's just a matter of 1 + 1. So the way I've always thought about it is a drone is a device that carries something.
Mm-hmm.
In our example over here, it is taking a camera,
Mm-hmm.
right? In your example, well, there was an example there, but like in an example with the military, it's carrying a bomb.
Mm.
In an example with the water example that I shared earlier, where we fly a drone and bring up a water sample, it was carrying the water canister.
Yeah.
And in the example of the agricultural scene, it's 100 litres of pesticide.
Mm.
So these drones, think about like, what do you want to carry?
Yeah.
Up to 100 kilos in what I can see right now today, myself, in my organisation.
Yeah.
But these these defence applications, you're talking hundreds of kilos because they start becoming like aeroplanes,
Yeah.
like full-blown airplanes.
So we're not far away then.
No, we're there.
I mean, how far are we from blurring the lines between a drone, an unmanned drone, for example, that performs a function like what you've spoken about, to then moving that drone technology to actually transporting people? Is that line already blurred? Is that happening? Or is that deemed to be a different class of equipment?
No, so you're talking like aerial taxis, right? Like,
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. You jump in a 737 or an A380, what's the pilot doing? You ask yourself that question.
It's all autopilot.
It's not doing anything.
Just does his flight checks,
Yeah.
signs for a load sheet.
Yeah. So the answer is it's like it's there.
Yep.
What's holding that up?
Yep.
Regulation.
Okay.
That's it. Like, and this is the thing, you could bring that 5-year view that I spoke about earlier to today.
Yep.
Because it's happening. You can go away and transport people autonomously because you got pilots that are quite literally like your load sheet, like your load control weighed the plane correctly. Have they gone away? And, you know, pilots are quite literally just sitting there checking it all, making sure all the things are right, foot down, neck back. Yeah.
Wow.
In my view is like this next 10 years of aviation is going to be absolutely extraordinary. And that's something I'm extremely passionate about.
Yeah.
Like this, and you know, as people ask you, like, do you want to exit the business? Do you want to like any of that? And I'm like, nah, what we've got in the next 10 years is,
Wow.
This is the place to be.
this is a plan. Like, and it's like, what else is going to trigger my brain like it is now? There's nothing. You can talk about AI and all that, but like, all right, cool, no worries. But like transforming like our airspace and integrating like helicopters that are firebombing with drones that are detecting the fires and drones that are detecting illegal fishing and, you know, sending a drone to take a photo of the registration and sharing that back, or triple O phone call. Like, it's just, you think about
It's amazing.
I call it design thinking. It's like you get given a problem and an idea and it's like, okay, how can you apply a technology stack to solve that problem? And that's what I've always enjoyed, problem solving.
Yeah.
Sound like you're touching on it now, but what next for Sphere Drones? How do you see the next 5-10 years?
5-10 years, geez, there's a lot there, right?
How do you see tomorrow? No.
But look, the next 12 months for us is like it's quite a like statement point. Like we've gone away and built the business over the course of the last 5 years to where we've gone away and proven market fit. We've got like some fantastic logos as customers. We're, you know, got a much more mature process and procedure, and it's all about like penetrating those like customers even deeper and going down that deep use case route with our customers. That's probably what's going to unfold over the course of the next 12 months is like double down, get like more experience, more exposure to more use cases and all that. At the same time, I myself am on a trajectory to go away and seek opportunities in international markets as well, around applying our intellectual property that we build, our software, our hardware, into markets like the US, into markets like the Emirates. We've got some open opportunities in amongst those regions, and we're ultimately following where the customers want us. So when you look at Sphere as a business, it's like double down on our use cases as they are, expand into the international markets, and then, you know, just using this logic of design thinking, throw me a problem, let me solve it. We may go away and invest in building out more intellectual property and more innovation. I'm very lucky that I still own 100% of the business, and that decision-making process very much still sits with myself and my executive leadership team, and value what they think and what their future view is. And yeah.
Would you delve into military? Because I know the state government or federal government had a $30 million funding for counter drone measures. I think it was in April 26th, like last month.
Yeah, just like everything in our business, there's things that we go away and design for industrial applications that will go away and spin off into potentially a defence application. There's one in particular whereby you take a mix of what we're doing with the detection of boats. Okay, how you can go away and translate that to detection of drones, and then at the same time, how we're detecting airplanes that have got ADS-B receivers and those sort of things. And what does that product look like? Is it something whereby we can position a hub, not necessarily with a drone, but a hub that's in our coastline that can go away and detect all the aircraft that are flying in and out, and actually also detect any drones that are coming in and out? That's where an industrial application that we're building right now today could potentially like shift into this like defense application, but it's not something we're looking for. I had someone say to me the other day, you've got enough opportunity to keep your business, like keep your production line, keep your software, keep all that going for the next 10 years. Like that's how much of an opportunity we've got right now. But it's all about scaling, and I'm all for just, you know, building out the team that I've got and growing that capability that we have internally even further than what we do. And we're already doing an amazing job, and I'm very proud of them.
Clearly you are, mate.
Yeah.
Well done.
100%. I was driving over Cook's Bridge. I don't know if you noticed. There's a crane and they were building something, and over the last couple of weeks I've been driving, what the hell are they doing there? It was actually a submarine. It looked like a drone, and I looked it up, and it was. So are you thinking of getting into submarine drones in any chance, or that's the right terminology I'm using?
Yeah, so they call it like remote, like underwater ROVs, remotely operated vehicles. We actually did go down that venture probably about 3 years ago, where, you know, we'd done a bunch of underwater application integrations. We had underwater drones going through like Sydney Harbour and all sorts of like checking piers of the Opera House, so on and so forth, piers of the Harbour Bridge and those sorts of things. We also like dabbled in the manned robotics. So I don't know if you've seen that yellow dog that walks, that Boston Dynamics spot. I've got 2 of them sitting out in Seven Hills, and if there's anyone that wants them, they can come and grab them because they're absolutely useless. Waste of money they were. But yeah, like we've dabbled in the underwater side, but really like when I talk about our business and the brain of our business, our brain of our business has never been so pushed from like a integration of use cases and technology as it has in the airborne drone side of things. These underwater use cases and these landborne robotics use cases didn't push our brain as an organisation and our DNA as much as I would have wanted it to.
Aviation is the test bed, you know, at the end of the day.
That's where
there's a reason why they say things are built to aviation standards. That's probably the reason.
Yeah, and we've never been pushed so hard ever, and I keep wanting to push the team even harder. They probably don't like me for it, but I'm just like, that's not good enough. Nothing's good enough. But
are you a good boss?
I hope I am. I've got some unbelievable tenured team members. Like my executive leadership team, there's 6 of them, and their average tenure is about 4.5 years. So
wow.
And in in an industry that's still pretty new, it's pretty nice to have that sort of statement. So among 66 employees, I think it's like average tenure is 2.5 years. So
wow. Yeah. So I don't want to leave.
Not yet.
Why would you?
Let's be a good boss.
This is the place to be. Yeah. Clearly, I mean, it's fantastic to.
It's probably the Guadavides that you're yabbering.
You laugh, but my ER comes with my dad once a week to the factory, and she sends my ER. She's my last grandmother that's left, and she is unbelievable. And they say you don't make them like they used to. Like, She is a weapon.
Yeah.
We've got a system called Slack. Think about Slack like Microsoft Teams or like WhatsApp.
Yep.
She will go away. So I've got her access to our Slack, 66 employees, right? Yeah. She goes away and she's got the audacity, and this is the toughness of her. She sent a photo today of the dishes that have been all piled up by all the employees and saying, this is not good enough.
Wow. She's the best.
Go, yeah.
But she's on Facebook, Instagram. She's almost 90 years old.
She's on Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram. You see her on a Sunday. She's signed on, and she's the first one to go away and comment on Father Stephen's thing, because she doesn't want to go to the church. She goes away and says, "Father, hope you're well. I'm watching from Facebook.
I'm watching the live stream."
So no, she's
what a champion.
She's on it. But speaking about my grandmother, and it's something that needs to be spoken about, because so I've given her the responsibility to go and pay every single invoice for me under $500, right? And she knows how to reconcile on Xero. She knows how to go and 90 years old. Yeah, reconcile a bill on Xero, send a remittance advice on Xero. Right?
I'm just thinking, he's saying this shit, and I'm thinking about going to my papu's place tomorrow, and I know that he's going to say, "Διάβασε αυτό." It's going to be some piece of mail.
Yeah. And yeah, to this day, she was a bookkeeper for my grandfather, right?
Yeah.
So she manual journals everything's sitting in a book. And
Is she one of your 66 employees?
No, she doesn't get paid.
Okay. Oh, come on, mate.
No, she's unbelievable.
Paid with love.
Yeah, paid with love. She's absolutely remarkable. She was out there today. She sent that photo. I'm like, oh, this is
Yaya Tasula, is it?
Yaya Tasula, that's right.
Yaya Tasula, we love you.
Yeah, you're the best, Yaya.
She sounds like an early adopter for all technology, so I reckon she's going to be on the podcast too.
Yeah, oh no, she'd love it. She got interviewed for something the other day, and
did she?
Talking about it. She's so proud and she's so happy. She got one of those medals from the Archdiocese and because of her commitment to the Greek Church. But no, she's
Mate, she's what you said, weapon.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You don't want to mess with her.
Wow. Good on her.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've spoken about some really high uses for drones, and, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, but what happens in the industry. Part of me, though, reckons that the majority of people will be happy if in the next 3 to 5 years they can get their Uber Eats order via drone. Or an Amazon package. I think that's probably that's it, success-wise for most people. What do you reckon?
Oh, I think it's to be honest, it's going to be there. And mark my word, we'll come back to this conversation in 5 years' time, and we'll order. I don't know.
We'll test the order.
Something like that.
A Freddo Espresso or something.
Yeah, Freddo Espresso. Caffeine.
Let's do it. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's not wait 5 years. We'll bring you back earlier than that. But, Paris.
The minute it happens, you'll come back on the show.
Yeah, that's right. Paris, thank you so much for being here, mate. Absolutely amazing story, inspiring story, and, beautiful to hear about your family, your grandparents and that whole story, mate. It genuinely is an inspiring thing for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, boys. Thank you.
Legend, guys. Well, ouzotalk@outlook.com is the email. Follow us on social media at ouzotalk and at ouzo_talk on Instagram, also on YouTube. Nika Thanasiou, Paris Cockinos, thank you very much, gentlemen. Ouzo Talk is produced, written and presented by Tom Skolarikas and Nika Thanasiou. Our theme music is written and played by Peter Apostolidis, with additional music from George Kalapidis and Bouzouki legend Thanasis Polykadriotis.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.